Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Faremouth on today's show.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Radio Show, a division of Authors Marketing International, an organization that supports authors all over the world. My name is Mary Ann Faremouth. I'm a multi-genre author. And tonight I have the distinct honor and pleasure to visit with a person that I have the utmost respect for. I met this person at a publishing event in 2018, and we've since become friends. But more importantly, she has helped me grow my publishing business. And so I feel extremely happy to be able to talk with her and interview her tonight on this program. Kathy Meis is the founder and CEO of a company called Bublish, and it is a complete publishing solution for today's independent authors. She has more than 25 years experience, and she's worked in media and the publishing industries. And Kathy has served in a wide variety of editorial and management positions. She's worked as a reporter for CBS. She's been a media person and editor for Forbes Media Critic. And she has a total solution for the indie authors, which is, it's just so hard to find that. And I cannot tell you how much working with Kathy has helped me grow my publishing business. So the other thing too is that the full service that she offers, she's an editor, she's a ghostwriter, she's a publishing entrepreneur. And so after this long introduction, let me now introduce my friend and my highly acclaimed business friend, Kathy Meis. Kathy, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Bublish and what you do.
Hi, thanks for having me. I wish this was in person. It's so great to see you again, your face instead of just on the phone. So just a delight to be here. And yeah, I've been in the business a long time, seen a lot of changes. My business was born out of the need for independent authors to have marketing services. And the more we got into it, I realized that my background in ghostwriting and editing really was a great match to bring a holistic, true publishing experience to independent authors, because the reality is that all the marketing begins in the manuscript, meaning that the author really does understand their audience as they're writing the book. And that is a big gap that we saw in the education for indie authors. And they make a lot of decisions early on with very little information about the business of publishing, which is a lot to learn in addition to the craft of writing a book. So that's kind of where we found our niche, where craft meets commerce, we say. And we're very much about empowering authorpreneurs, as we call them, entrepreneurs, because you are an entrepreneur if you're an author and you're self-publishing, because you're opening your own publishing company too. And we empower them with the services and the programs and technology they need to be successful.
Well, I think your service is just, unbelievably helpful. And I think the one thing you do, Kathy, that I find so helpful is that, when somebody wants to write a book, you can sit down with them and talk with them about, okay, you want to write this book. And, you and I and a lot of people know that, publishing a book is a very high intensive experience. And if you have someone that can sit down with you at the beginning and say, okay, let's really investigate this, who's your target audience, all right? Who's going to look at this? And you can help them, go above and beyond with starting in the very early stages. I mean, talk about that. Isn't that a lot of things that a lot of what you do, Kathy?
Yeah, I think that's really our secret sauce is that we kind of had a tagline once that really doesn't ring, but it was like, we help you not publish the book you thought you were going to publish. But the key was that a lot of times you have this great idea or you have all this expertise, and you haven't really thought about what that looks like for the audience. And in an environment where, the majority of books are purchased online, you have just seconds to get someone to understand the experience. And then those first pages of your book in the look inside feature have to sell to that reader who has a lot of choices that are just one click away. And so that opening of the book, if you're nonfiction or a business writer, your table of contents, your authority on the subject, your cover, your synopsis, all of those things have to be just spot on. So they're like, okay, this is for me. And then they make a purchase. There's no person hand selling your book, on a place like Amazon. And with genre fiction or literary fiction, it's really understanding what's that reader expectation. If you're writing a thriller and it starts out, with a character sketch, you're probably not going to capture that attention of that reader because you don't understand the reader's expectation. So we really are, the only ones who work a lot with authors at the beginning around thinking about the audience, where they fit in this vast universe of books where 70,000 books are published every month. And that's probably an underestimate, because COVID has only increased the number of books that are being published.
Well, I think that's right. And I think that, so many people have written books during COVID. I've talked to so many people that I know that have written books, but how great for them to have a person, an expert that can help them, streamline the process. I think when you write a book, everybody thinks they're going to be the J.K. Rowling, and it doesn't work that way. Okay. I mean, you have to make sure that what you're writing is going to really capture the audience that you want it to, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. And I think that, the other thing that I think that what you do that is so great is that not only do you help the person at the initial stages, but then the hard part after it's written, then you go above and beyond and you help them market it. And really the writing part, in my opinion, tell me if you agree or not, Kathy, the writing part is the easy part. The hard part is the marketing part. Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, we hear that from a lot of authors, and yeah, I for us, I think the other big thing that we show authors is a professional publishing timeline. And most independent authors don't realize how early the marketing, really needs to start in order for you to lay the foundation for a successful launch and create that momentum. So, pre-order campaigns and supporting those pre-order campaigns with a variety of marketing and advertising is very key. That's, again, New York does it that way. You'll see books being seeded out in the market, covers and synopses, and blurbs to build momentum for a book a year in advance of launch, and certainly at least a season in advance. But, a lot of times independent authors don't know how much work goes into marketing a book before it launches. So we really try to bring that knowledge. And again, that's part of how we empower is through education.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've helped me so much, and so many of the different things you've suggested to me about, utilizing things that I had no idea were out there. I mean, because of a couple of things you told me, I mean, last year, I think I sold as many books in India as I sold in the United States. And I think that was because of something you told me about. So, your information for indie authors is really invaluable. The other thing too, you mentioned to me the other day is that, we all think we put an ad out, we put a book on Amazon and it'll sell itself. But I think anymore, Kathy, I think we almost have to advertise on Amazon and
Yeah.
and then have relationships with other kinds of publishing firms like Authors Marketing International to really get the book out there. It used to not be that way, but I think it's that way now. Don't you agree?
Yeah, highly competitive. I would, there was a time when you heard the words with Facebook, it's a pay to play. Like if you wanted your post seen, you had to pay for advertising, and that is now the case on Amazon as well. And, Amazon was powerful before COVID, but then the entire world, even people who had never purchased anything online before, went there and other online retailers to purchase. And that just, made it all the more crowded and noisy. And you really do have to have a plan to advertise and advertise. The other thing that people don't realize is they'll just advertise, but they don't have any reviews. So we're just talking today how, we have requirements, but we're going to become really strict about letting people into the Amazon ads program because it's become much more expensive. When you're bidding to have somebody click on your ad, it's much more expensive than it used to be. And books are not, price wise, they're not, high ticket items. So you can't be losing those click-throughs. You have to get the sale to get any kind of margin on them. And if you don't have reviews and, editorial reviews from people in your industry or your genre, or some of the big places like Kirkus or Publishers Weekly, or, you don't have any reader reviews, you have, 3-starred reviews, it's not enough for you to get into advertising yet. So there is a process to set up a foundation for success.
Okay, well, let's hold our thought and let's let our advertisers do their thing, and we'll come right back.
Mary Ann Faremouth is a career consultant with 30 years experience in the national recruiting world, a multi-award-winning author in multi-genres, and a speaker that gives presentations to help you succeed. Her book, Revolutionary Recruiting, made the top 20 global list of recruiting books. Find her on Amazon, your favorite bookstore, or at Faremouth.com.
To embrace your children's imagination, check out Diane Floyd Bame's books for kids. There's The Moonling Adventures, all about the animals in the Serengeti. And then there's Harry the Camel, learning to love yourself just the way you are. Then The Little Girl in the Moon. There's one about friendship, another one about the big ideas, which is an inspirational story. And then Tour Tycho Town, right there in Tycho Crater on the moon. All of Diane Floyd Bame's books are available at B4R Store.
Hello, I am the author Denise Bryson. My first book is The Things That Cross My Mind, Inspirational Poetry with Life Lessons. And then my audio book is Love's Reality. And it is also inspirational poetry with a jazzy flair. And then my new book is The Sex, the Lies, and the Soul Ties. They're really short stories written from a poetic expression. And then I have my first children book series, the Blinky series, which the first book is called Meet the Coins, and it is both in English and Spanish. And then the new book From Coins to Bills. I am the author, Denise Bryson.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Faremouth on today's show.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Radio Show, a division of Authors Marketing International. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing with a very, very acclaimed person in the book industry, and that is Kathy Meis, who's the founder of Bublish. She is the CEO of the company, a complete publishing solution for today's independent authors. And we're just talking, Kathy, about how putting your book up on Amazon now is different, and you have to have advertising campaigns to go along with that. What do you think has made that change come about? Because of the competition, because of COVID making so many more people become authors, or what?
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's more books. I think it's become more robust. The advertising platform existed for products other than books but for less time. And now authors are understanding the value of it. So more authors are participating in advertising. And so that combination, along with the fact that, you just have incredible volume of people buying online. So you're bidding in a much more competitive environment for people's attention.
Yeah. And don't you think too that maybe COVID has promoted the indie author even more? I mean, years ago, the way to go was to go with a big publishing house. But I think now the indie way of publishing and getting your book out there is probably more front and center than going with a big publishing house. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, there continues to be really a lot of contraction in traditional publishing. So, it was always what I would call eye of the needle to get a publishing contract, but now that's cut in half. And there's a lot of backlog there. They don't have agile business models like an independent author might have to kind of shift gears. So they're huge companies. So I think that gave the independent authors an advantage, at least the independent authors who really understood how to take advantage of digital marketing and online. We saw a huge uptick in people doing online readings and using Zoom in creative ways. And when you're kind of in charge of your own marketing, if you're creative and you're driven and you're persistent, you do have an opportunity to go directly to your reader and build an audience. And, there were some advantages there for independent authors. And I also think when you move to more online purchases that people don't sort, it doesn't say indie, indie, indie. They don't know. You have a quality book cover, you have a synopsis that grabs their attention, you have a cover and pricing that makes sense to them. Well, they're more than willing to look at your book. They don't really care who published it. That is less the case when you have gatekeepers in, physical bookstores. Although we've been successful, working with a lot of bookstores, but the digital environment, the online environment does help the indies, in my opinion.
I think so.
Yeah.
So if somebody came to you and maybe they've already published a book and they came to you and said, Kathy, I've published this book, it has 4 or 5 awards. It's got great reviews, but I'm not selling enough books. What would you do for them? How do you handle someone like that?
We've done a lot. What's crazy is, again, it comes back to really thinking about the audience. Like, one book comes to mind and the title of the book was just not right for the young adult audience. The content inside was fabulous, but the cover, the synopsis, everything else about it, nobody the age that they were targeting would look at. And we see those kinds of problems all the time. So you fix those things and then you start to put it next to the comparable titles and it looks like those titles. And then that audience clicks over. Now you have a sale and you can build on that really quickly. It is a little bit difficult to undo the sales history of a book if it's been really sluggish for a long time, but it is possible. But we always tell people to go, if you're running advertising and it's not working for you, look at your product page. And that's, you can't change the title. We couldn't in the case of the book that that I'm thinking about. You can change your subtitle. You can change your book cover. You can change your description, your synopsis. You can change your pricing. You can even change your look inside, which is sometimes a big problem. So if you wrote a whole book and it doesn't really start in a way that would meet the reader's expectation, you can, add a page or some kind of scene at the front so that that look inside feature actually sells the book. So there's a lot of things you can do, but really marketing is always about 100 little steps to get someone to take a specific action. And you can't just say, well, it's not working. You have to look at each of the 100 little steps and you have to say, let's try fixing this one. And if you see a difference and you get 20% more sales, okay, let's try fixing this one. And, over time that can really start to build momentum. And again, momentum is that it just starts to exponentially impact a book.
Yeah.
We love building brands, we love building author brands. So we've taken a lot of authors that have great writing that just that whole outside wasn't right, or the positioning.
Well, I think the other thing too that's so great about working with you is that what I found was that you really tried to understand what I was doing and what the market was that I was trying to target, and maybe had to be just tweaked a little bit. But you didn't like some other people I've run into had say to me, everything you've done is wrong. It's all wrong. I mean, you listened, you understood, you tried to help me grow what I had been doing. And I think that for a rather new author, that's important, is the way you present it. And I think you have a way about you that is not so intimidating. So let's do this. Let's take a break. Let's let our authors do our advertisers. I got author on the brain. Our advertisers do their thing, and we'll come right back.
Publishing marketing package for authors. A $1,500 value, save 40% now. Includes a 6-piece marketing kit of 250 bookmarks, 250 business cards, 250 postcards, 1 table banner, 1 table runner, and 50 download cards, plus book cover design, ebook creation, PDF setups, upload to Ingram Spark, scroll placement, video commercial, and interview on IBS. Plus much more. Email bourgeoismedia@look.com for details, or bourgeoismedia.com.
Hi, I'm Mel Greenberg, author of Running with Our Eyes Closed, book 1 in the Empty Nested series. To the world, Samantha has the perfect life. 3 wonderful children, a loving husband, so she thought, and a life split between Dallas and Italy. When her youngest leaves for college, it all comes crashing down, forcing Samantha to re-examine everything. Over 7 days in one of the most romantic countries in the world, Samantha faces the past she thought she'd overcome and begins to redefine her role as a woman, a wife, and a mother.
What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to care for a loved one? Well, during COVID, almost all of us have been doing just that. I'm Charlotte Canyon, award-winning author, actress, and speaker. And my book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, shows you how you can revive, thrive, and survive with 4 golden rules. You have to love one another. You have to respect one another. You have to have patience with one another. And most of all, you've got to forgive one another. I'm Charlotte Canyon, and I approve this message.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Faremouth on today's show.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Radio Show, Division of Authors Marketing International. My name is Mary Ann Faremouth. I'm the host for this today's episode, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure to be talking with Kathy Meis, the CEO of Bublish, a company that offers a complete solution for today's indie author. Kathy, we've talked about so many things on this program, and you've given me so many good ideas and insights. But if a person wants to get a hold of you, say they're an author and they just haven't been successful in what they're doing, how can they do that? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so just visit Bublish.com. There's a lot of resources for authors and education, and they can set up an appointment with someone on my team. We do 20-minute free consultations. We're a very human company. We're very involved with our authors over the course of their publishing journey and well beyond, and most of them publish multiple books with us. So we really like to get to know our authors. So we're very accessible. And, you can find us pretty much on any social media as well. If you look up Bublish or Bublish Me, we also have our own bookstore that's in beta to directly sell select independent authors of high quality. So we can learn more about how that resonates with readers and have access to reader data that we don't have anywhere else. So we're always doing innovative things.
That's great. And so if somebody wants to do just a particular type of marketing or,
Mhm.
so they don't have to do the whole package, but you offer different services that can be, it doesn't have to be a total package. It can be a
Correct.
particular type of service. Is that right?
Yeah, we have packages where you save a little, but we have a la carte and literally have any service an author could need. Specifically on the marketing, we build author websites, we build reader magnets, we do Amazon ads for authors who distribute with us. We are a global distributor in all three formats, so ebook, print, and audiobooks. And through our relationships as an aggregator, put authors in front of 40,000, channels, retail and wholesale. We also have programs to reach bookstores and libraries. We have Facebook ads. We do press releases. We do sell sheets. We have you name it, we do it. It is our goal. It's a very fractured marketplace, I think, for independent authors. So like I said, I've been an editor, so we are from the beginning. We can consult in the beginning, we can edit, do design, do interiors, or any piece of that, anywhere along the way.
And with all these, new variants they're talking about now, and the
Yeah.
Delta variant, these different things. I mean, I'm thinking with all this coming out, I mean, if you're saying, it's been, think 70,000 books published a month, that's probably going to increase, don't you think?
I think it has. That's actually the 2019 figure. So it would be my guess. It's about 20 to 30% higher than that per month now. So yeah.
So if somebody's thinking about writing a book, all
Mhm.
right, what would your, suggestion be? From my, I've written 2 books, and then I've written 3 short stories, but from my experience, and I've been writing, published my first book in 2017. My advice would be, get a professional start with you at the beginning. Don't just do it blindly. That would be the first thing. The second thing is make sure you have a good editor and proofreader. And the third thing is make sure you have a good marketing company. But what would the 3 things be that you could recommend to people that are thinking about writing a book?
My first advice always to them is understand your goals. Like, really be honest. You are starting an entrepreneurial journey. It is a place where it's craft, but you're also putting that craft into a commerce situation. So it is a professional act, publishing that book, and you got to learn the business. And so think about what you want to achieve, because that changes everything. It changes a lot of things about the book. Then learn your audience. If you're a business author, your audience should be very aligned with those goals that you want to achieve. And if you're in genre fiction, it means reading deeply, it means reading reviews, it means looking at those books. We do positioning studies, but I've also done plenty of trainings to teach people how to do those positioning studies themselves. And it really should be done either before or while you're writing, so that I always say it's like you're giving a gift to a person. People think of marketing and they get like, ugh, they can't stand it. It makes them uncomfortable. But if you think you're going to give a gift to your friend, I'm thinking of a gift you once gave me that was very, very special that I wear. And, and like, you thought about me, right? You thought about what I like, right? And what what would make me happy. If you think about marketing, like you're putting your gift and you're giving it to somebody in particular, you want to know about that person. So learn about your audience. That's the second thing. Know your goals, know about your audience, and do things professionally. You only get one shot, and people spend a lot of money. They make a lot of mistakes, and then they got to go back and redo them in order to achieve their goals. So do things professionally, work with professionals, even if it's not me.
Well, Kathy, it's been a delight. I always
to-
love being around you and talking with you, because you always give me so much helpful information. And for our listeners out there, this is the Indie Beacon Radio Show, division of Authors Marketing International. If you're thinking about writing a book, if you have a book, if you want to have expanded sales, you need to get a hold of Kathy Meis with Bublish. I've worked with her. She's amazing. She's a wonderful person and has a wonderful heart, but she really knows her stuff. So again, my name is Marianne Faremouth. This is Indie Beacon Radio. And Kathy, we're thrilled to have you on the show. Thank
It
you
was
so
a
much.
pleasure. Thank you for having me so much. So great to see you.
Thank you for watching or listening to the Indie Beacon Show, produced by Biala Bourgeois for the Authors Marketing International LLC. Copyright 2021. Voiceover by Biala Bourgeois. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, please email us at authorsmarketing@outlook.com. If you would like to be on the show, please complete the form found on our website at indiebeacon.com. You may also watch previous year's shows on the website. Music is Frolic of Words, created for Indie Beacon